We are probably in the best recreation pond that we've ever built before. And here's one thing I can promise. If this was a swimming pool, we wouldn't be sitting here looking at the swimming pool.
Right.
But we're sitting here looking at your beautiful fish.
You asked about the maintenance. That's therapy for me.
Yeah.
When I want to get away from and forget about things, I come outside in the yard.
They've hosted 400 people in this yard. They never really used the yard before this. And it's always about how it changes how they use the space and live in the aquascape lifestyle. Here in Arlington Heights, Illinois. I'm with Ed Ballou, my Chief Sustainability Officer and my Director of Field Research, and we are probably in, I would say, the best recreation pond that we've ever built before. Ed designed and built this a year ago for Pondemonium. This was our advanced build-a-pond day at Pondemonium.
Yep.
We had hundreds of people out here training, teaching, learning,
Yeah,
which is exactly what Aquascape is all about. Oh, by the way, I'm Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. This is my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy, and it's all about living the aquascape lifestyles. You guys are in for a real treat because this is certainly living the aquascape lifestyles. Check this out. Everything had to come through this little area.
And look how tight this is. Hundreds of cubic yards of material out, hundreds of tons of stone coming in.
I mean, this is the city lot that we're in right now. It's a double city lot, but they had access for everything to get through right there. So explain this project, Ed.
This was such a fun project, just from the design process, logistical challenge. I love a good challenge. Getting our hands dirty, trying to figure out how to make all this happen in a city lot and how to pull off this look.
Yep.
You know, bringing in the right type of stone, the right plant material. I mean, thinking of every detail, the elevations, the excavation, figuring out the filtration system to make this work, to deliver what they were looking for.
Well, so, I know what I want to do right now.
Hey,
Have a seat. And look who's coming out to join us.
There he is.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Can I get you a drink or something?
Yeah, I think I would like a drink. How you doing, John?
On the patio, just
Let's see, would Ed like a drink? That's a rhetorical question. This vision to do this is not a usual homeowner project. I mean, how did you come up with the concept of a recreation pond in your yard?
So I was at your guys' place whenever Brian had his firstborn's first birthday. So I don't know how old she is, but down 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was. Birthday number 1 was at your place, so we went down to Aqualand and we were sitting there, we were exploring your outdoor pond.
Yes.
So I just sat there and obviously enjoyed that. Kids were jumping in that pond. It's obviously much larger than this, and I told Brian, I am not sure when, but one day we're going to do a miniature version of this. So I actually came home and I drew a little sketch, and it was just a meandering stream, a waterfall over here, and a pond over here. This got a little bigger than my sketch, but it was close, maybe about 10 feet wider. 10 years later, all of a sudden we had this opportunity where this house was under construction. I thought to myself, gosh, if I'm going to get some big stuff back here, it's probably the time to do it.
Part of the deal for us working here was that we would actually be able to teach our contractors. So you hosted hundreds of people in your yard. I remember you standing on the rock and just teaching. And what was probably the thing that you remember most about this build?
The thing I remember most, probably going down and finding that nasty soil underneath all that stuff. We couldn't actually put big rocks on it. The soil couldn't support the weight. So we had to amend that. And then we had to put a drainage system in there just because this area collects all this water. It's been doing that for who knows how long.
Now that you've had this for literally 1 year, how much maintenance and upkeep is an ecosystem water feature versus like a swimming pool?
The water is crystal clear. It's much better than a pool because you have a lot more to look at than a blue liner or
and
cement
unlike
bottom.
a pool, it's crystal clear from biological instead of chemical.
Versus chemical.
Yeah, so
which is part of the recreation.
Exactly. So about having that recreational aspect. Here in the northern climates, you only have 100 days at best from Memorial Day to Labor Day to swim, and that's if you have a heater in your pool. Most people don't enjoy it all the time. So with this, it's 365 days.
I mean, the winter, I put Christmas lights up on the trees, reflecting on the water, the waterfall's going. I left everything running until after January, and then since I didn't have any fish, I shut it down.
So the fish came in year 2. They came in this year.
This summer.
You got some beautiful fish down there.
Yeah.
There are many moments that I remember here. So the first one was that excavation because that happened right away.
First 3 days were unbelievable.
That pile of soil was
7 a.m. The grass looked like this, dead flat. by 10 a.m. there was a freaking
mountain.
10 20 foot pile of dirt
You're like-
and bobcats and trucks running.
Was
dirt
your
back
wife
around.
like, what have you signed us up for?
It was,
We normally have problems with the homeowners during the construction, not after, it's during.
Oh.
But, I mean, you really kind of did this so that it could be a recreation pond. The
definitely.
kids could swim in here,
Yep.
right? You have
Yep.
3 kids.
No, we have 4. The 2 youngest swim in it the most, without question, every weekend. And they'd have no fear whatsoever. They crawl up every edge of this. They slide on any rock. If they found a little algae on the bottom, they'll throw it at the. They enjoy it.
It's an ecosystem.
It's my older daughter. She'll come in and, of course, just lay around on rafts with the girls.
Yep.
And I'll usually just sit in that chair or that chair up there watching.
Well, let's go sit in those chairs. I kind of like that idea. And here's one thing I can promise. If this was a swimming pool, we wouldn't be sitting here looking at the swimming pool.
Right.
But we're sitting here looking at your beautiful fish.
It's a living thing. You know, you got some water lilies in here. We have fish. The plant materials. You picked everything out.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have an incredible eye for seeing that stuff, because not many people can see that, but seeing the different layers and the different textures and how all those things kind of interact together, it's artwork. This is only year number 1.
You asked about the maintenance. That's therapy for me.
Yeah.
So when I want to get away from and forget about things, I come outside in the yard and I'll pull weeds and I'll mess around. And,
Yep.
Because right now, the pond, because of the biological load and everything in there, you have a ton of babies, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
But the biological load of those fish for this size pond and the filter system we have is nothing.
Nothing.
Like, there's not even a blip,
Right.
you know, in anything. You can handle a lot.
Well, this is the most rewarding thing, coming back a year after we created a project, being able to sit down, have a drink, relax, and see our work.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Thank you.
gentlemen. All right.
Thank you.
So Ed, my favorite thing about this is how you designed it so that the yard is still functional over
Yep.
here for parties and the kids and everything. And from that window, your eyes get drawn all the way down to that waterfall at the end. And I guarantee you, everybody that comes out on this patio is going to walk and or along this stream. And the fact that the fish can swim up this stream. I mean, when I first came here, all I saw was all the little baby fry
Right.
of all the fish. It just adds such an interest. So my favorite thing about this water feature is the design, where the entire length of the yard is filled with water and it just sucks you like a vacuum cleaner, deposits you in the backyard and draws you to the end with something to look at of interest the entire way. What did you actually say was yours?
I said I love that area where the stream actually converges with
Okay.
the pond. And it's just because you have that convergence of water. It's kind of a really unique spot, that
Yep.
transitional zone. I love that area.
Yeah.
Looking straight down here. and it's
Literally, what's not to love about this? Comment below on what your favorite part of this water feature is.
So one of the unique parts of this property is this patio. This is a self-sustaining water feature. It's actually separate from everything else, but it's a great accent because we have water popping up all over the place. We have this beautiful fountain here in the foreground. John and Cheryl were just telling me how they enjoy it when they're having breakfast or having lunch or dinner right inside the kitchen over there. What I like about this feature is it's self-sustaining. Every drop of water that you see right here is 100% rainwater. They will never have to add water to this fountain because this reservoir is built to capture all the water. This entire patio has an impermeable rubber membrane underneath the entire patio with a modular tank down at the bottom. So anytime it rains, that water falls down through the bricks, gets caught inside of that rubber membrane, and then it gets recirculated with a pumping system for this decorative fountain. So this is a beautiful accent to any feature at all. But what I love about it is how it ties everything else together. So this little waterfall at the start of the entire system. So this is the headwaters is what we're going to call it. But what I like about this is it's featured again towards the home. So you get that nice sound of the waterfall. We have that beautiful canopy. But what's really interesting about it is we're mimicking a natural watershed. So in a natural river system or a natural lake system, you don't have the entire volume of a river system all the way at the top of a mountain. At the top of the mountain, you're gonna have these little tiny trickles. Then those little trickles connect together to form a bigger stream. Then those bigger streams connect to form bigger waterfalls. And it continues to go down, it gets more and more volume. It's exactly what we're doing here. It's biomimicry. We're mimicking natural ecosystems. So we have a small percentage of the water coming over this waterfall. And as it continues downstream, we get more and more of that flow. So let's take a walk down and see how all this comes together before it enters our pond. So I'm halfway down the stream, and this is kind of our transition zone. We have a small percentage of the water going up there. The other 9,000 gallons per hour is coming up from the bottom of all this stuff. From where I'm standing, this goes down 6 feet. So there's a massive 6-foot deep excavation, 30 feet long, 20 feet wide, right underneath my feet. We have a layer of aqua blocks that's going to create a sedimentation chamber on the bottom. Then we have layers of river rock, which is going to become our biological filter. And this is biomimicry stuff. So you have natural springs where water bubbles up from the bottom of the earth. During that process, it's actually cleansing the water. If you look down closely inside of here, you're actually going to see some beautiful little fish. They are going to thrive in this environment, and that's because of the biological diversity. So all that stuff comes bubbling up from the bottom, and the fish you're going to see foraging down on the bottom. So this is literally a nursery for all your baby fish. This is an important part of the entire ecosystem, and it actually creates a lot of beauty. And you can see the stream is widening itself out. What we wanted to do here, we wanted to create seating areas. We have this nice little fire pit. This was meant to look like camping in the North Woods. Sitting down adjacent to a stream, little campfire, and you can just kind of let the stresses of the day go away. So this is one of my favorite areas because this is where the stream meets the pond. So the challenge is how to make it all look natural. Dropping in some big, giant, massive boulders really helps us. But the other thing is we kind of have a little bit of a circulation issue. So what we did, we put in this little jet system here. We use a really neat type of a line that allows us to manipulate the water flow. So it gives me a lot of flexibility. Once you get to understand kind of the patterns of your pond, you can actually fine tune it. So this is a constantly evolving system. Just like anything, it evolves over time. This is not a sterile environment. This is constantly living, and it's a very dynamic. That's what I love about it, and actually that's what our customers love as well. Getting in the water, trimming up water lilies, feeding the fish, all those different little pieces are part of the lifestyle of having a recreational pond. So this is actually the termination point for all of the water. So right here we have all the entire pumping volume, all of that water press right over this massive stone. What's interesting is underneath me again is a massive reservoir. There's a 3,000 gallon tank underneath my feet. It goes down approximately 6 feet deep every time it rains on this property. Every drop of water that falls in the pond continues flowing by gravity, goes down into our reservoir. So they've yet to add water from the home into this system. So we're constantly playing around with that. That's the way water should be. There's no chemicals, there's no treatment. This is very soft water, perfect for fish, for plants, for swimming. This entire pond, approximately 25,000 gallons of water. We have a specific percentage of water underground. It's out of the sunlight. It's not going to grow planktonic algae. So this is actually all part of the design. When we're thinking of these things, when we're designing this type of a system to create the ultimate backyard recreational pond. So the main waterfall in this pond, phenomenal. Everybody loves a beautiful waterfall, and they're not just beautiful, they're functional. Look at the action of it. That water's just crashing over all those boulders. That's infusing the water with dissolved oxygen, which is critical for the overall health of the entire ecosystem. And man, again, this is one of my favorite projects. I love all the different aspects of this thing. I mean, Greg, what do you think?
I'm listening to you talk, and I'm glad that you do your thing, because my thing is sitting here. We spent probably 30 minutes just sitting here with John and Cheryl talking. They've hosted 400 people in this yard. They never really used the yard before this, okay? It was just grass. The kids went out here and threw the frisbee and stuff. Now it draws them out. They said they spend every night. And about another 10 or 15 minutes, the underwater lights will pop on, and it's always about how it changes how they use the space and live in the aquascape lifestyle. So the fact that Ed can do what he does and design everything so that the ecosystem functions, it works, it's low maintenance, that's all fantastic. But for me, it's always about living the aquascape lifestyle, which is exactly what John and Cheryl are doing out here. And I gotta tell you, I love my job because I get to go and experience how my customers are living the aquascape lifestyle. And for me, there's nothing that makes me more proud is to see what talented guys can do to create, to let people be able to enjoy spaces like this. This is just fun. I love this stuff. If you want to see more of this, if you want to get more people inspired, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share this so that more people could see something different than just having a swimming pool. Great job as always, Eddie.
Appreciate it.
I love my job.